Okay, let's walk and talk. You might think this is a doorstop, but I promise you it's not. Today, we're going to be talking about this. This is the FEI's noseband tightness tester device. They spent a lot of time to create an objective measure for the noseband. And personally, there's a lot of controversy over this little piece of plastic. Personally, I think it's a great idea. I always think taking a subjective measure that our stewards have to do or administer and turn it into an objective test is a good idea. So previous to May 1st this year, the way our stewards would measure if a noseband was too tight would be to subjectively, they would take their fingers and they'd put their fingers inside the noseband, either at the pre-boot check or the post, and they would feel the noseband. And subjectively, they would decide if it's too tight or not too tight. This fixes that solution by giving an objective test. If this passes through the nose, down the front of the nose, in between the nose and the noseband, then the horse passes. This is a great idea. But my problem with this is how it has been marketed. So to us competitors, at least on a show jumping side, it has seemed very much that this new noseband rule FEI put it out as a FEI total general rule. And they market it as how the FEI is pushing our sport forward, making it more humane, making it better for the horses. You know, it seemed very much that it's been this cavalier push from the FEI that shows how good they're doing. Look at us, general public, at what we're doing to make horse sports more humane, and these riders are using too tight of a noseband, and this is us making all horse sports better. At least that's the feeling. The problem is, even in FEI's testing with this device, in the jumper world, when they tested in Belgium at a 2-star or 3-star, I believe, they tested 600 horses. And none of the horses who got tested or their riders or managers knew about this device before. Only 2 of them had a noseband that was too tight. 2. So to me, that is not a systemic, deep, major problem that needs to be fixed. Thank God the FEI is here to fix this problem, that 2 of 600 horses, when no one knew this test prior. Now that's on the jumper side. There's other divisions that FEI regulates and governs, and I feel like this device was directed at one specific division. And I have no problem with that. We have division-specific rules all the time. You know, cross-country rules shouldn't apply to us jumpers. Some of our jumper rules shouldn't apply to cross-country people. Vaulters rules should be vaulter-specific. And this should have been discipline-specific to where it is most needed. And it shouldn't be marketed as a big savior device that is saving all of horse sports. It is not. And that is what I have a big issue with. Again, I love the test. It's an objective test, pass it through the nose. If it passes through the noseband, pass. Great, I love that. That's great. It is a great device and a great rule. But it shouldn't be marketed as this big push that saves and improves so much of horse sports, because it doesn't. If FEI really wanted to do that, there's plenty of things that they could do that would be easier and harder. Example of 2 easy rules I've talked about before would be to have a stricter and more rigorously policed heat bulb test. So if it is too hot, the show can't run. And actually enforcing that. If it is too hot, horses shouldn't have to go in the ring. If the air quality is too bad, the show stops. Horses shouldn't have to go in the ring if the air quality isn't good enough. I know you say, well, that's up to the rider and the rider shouldn't go when it's too hot or when the air quality is too bad. But a lot of riders don't know about air quality, don't look it up, don't have a measure for it. And the heat, if it's too hot and they choose to scratch, a lot of times they pay for that. They still pay for the class even though they scratched. And their sponsor, they have to tell their sponsor why they scratched. And a lot of sponsors, I'm sorry, they might not be the most understanding. And so it's not as immediate as everything good should be the rider that does it. That's why the governing body's here as well. And we should have more strictly enforced heat and air quality. The next one, which I'll cover in the next video because it's going to get too long, is, I believe, some adjustments to how stewarding happens would allow for such a better sport. Because we have great stewards and we do have really great rules. But some of the structure makes it so that the great stewards and the great rules are not applied uniformly and they're not employed as they're written. Enforce the rules you got before you start writing new ones. We'll cover that in the next video.